And we're locked up again on Facebook. Awesome. Okay.
Not to me.
Okay, so you guys are live, so you'll have to, if you guys don't mind answering questions. Facebook did it to me again, but we're live on YouTube.
Okay, well there you go.
So I guess we're live on both. So you guys can let me know if we're not live.
Yes.
And we
He's
are now.
saying it is Happy Saturday or Happy Sunday.
Happy Sunday.
I need new glasses already.
Okay, good evening, everyone, and welcome back to our Sunday night offering of Astronomy Outreach, the Sunday Night Astronomy Show. First of all, I'd like to welcome back our regular co-hosts, Royal Astronomical Society of Canada member, Mr. Paul Owen from Hampton.
Hello.
Hello. And Royal Astronomical Society of Canada member, Mike Powell from the PFO Observatory here in St. John. I meant to say the Moon Shadow Observatory. Sorry, Paul. Yeah. There's Mike. Yeah.
Awesome. That's okay, you know.
Okay.
I know where I am on your totem.
There you go.
I got to use what Mr. Bell wanted to use. Ahoy!
Okay, we've got another busy show for you tonight. I'm going to be starting us off with another Where Are They Now segment. Tonight's talk is continuing the discussion around the amazing 45-year mission now, almost 45 years so far of the Voyager spacecraft. There is so much to cover that I had to break it up actually into 3 parts. Tonight we're going to take a look at part 2. Last week it was about the spacecraft themselves. This week is called the Voyager Grand Tour. So we'll get more information on that. And then also on tonight's program, Mike is going to give us his first impressions on a new telescope mount he received. Always nice to get a nice toy delivered to you. So Mike has that in the background there. We're going to have a little bit of a talk about that, his review on that. Also, he'll be giving us another binocular target of the week to take a look at. Paul's going to give us another interesting Rosanna's Fun Facts to share with you tonight. Plus, we are making our draw as well for the prizes in our most recent Shoot the Moon contest. Yay!
Yeah.
And we'll have a few of your photos to send in to share as well, over and above the Moon contest ones. So busy night. So sit back and enjoy. And remember, this is a family-friendly live broadcast. So if you have any questions about the night sky, we're more than happy to I'm more than happy to have one of these guys answer them for you.
Yeah.
Okay, awesome. So let's get started with another look at our segment, Where Are They Now? This one's a little bit in-depth, so please bear with me, because there's a fair amount of information here to cover. And I'll present my screen first of all. This guy, I guess. We'll go to this mode, and we'll go to here. And I'm going to go here. Let's go from beginning. There we go. Popped up on the right screen. Everybody good? We'll wait for it to pop up there. Let me know when you see it, guys.
Yep.
You're up.
Okay, perfect. All right. Okay, so tonight, where are they now? We're going to continue on with the Voyager spacecraft mission. Again, almost a 45-year mission. Part 1 was the overview of the mission itself and the spacecraft themselves. Part 2 tonight is going to be called the Planetary Voyage, or the Grand Tour, they call it. And of course, Part 3 will be next week about the interstellar mission, where the spacecrafts are now. So the Grand Tour was a NASA program that would have sent 2 groups of robotic probes to all the planets to the outer solar system. Now, it called for 4 spacecraft, actually, 2 of which would visit Jupiter, Saturn, and Pluto, while the other 2 would visit Jupiter, Uranus, and Neptune. Now, this enormous cost of the project, though, around $1 billion, led to its cancellation and replacement with a Mariner Jupiter-Saturn program, which became the Voyager program. Now, the concept of the Grand Tour began in 1964 when Gary Flandreau of the JPL noted that an alignment of Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, and Neptune that would occur in the late 1970s would enable a single spacecraft to visit all of the outer planets by using gravity assist. The particular alignment occurs only once every 176 years. By 1966, JPL was promoting the project, noting that it would allow a complete survey of the outer planets in less time and for less money than sending individual probes to each planet. Now, the original plan called for 2 missions that would visit 3 planets each, including Pluto, but competition for funds from the upcoming Space Shuttle program canceled the project actually in 1971. Now, the final proposal approved was one of 2 spacecraft visiting just 2 planets each. Now, the missions were different. Voyager 1 would travel to Jupiter, Saturn, and Titan. It would then rise up from the plane of the planets, and if it wasn't successful, it would become Voyager 2's mission about 9 months later. If it was successful, Voyager 2 might be considered for the Grand Tour. Pluto was considered as one of the original targets, but it was determined that Saturn's moon Titan was actually more interesting. As I mentioned last week, Voyager 1 was launched on August the 20th, Voyager 2, on August the 20th, 1977, and Voyager 1 on September the 5th, 1977. The Voyager 1 was sent on a different and faster trajectory. This picture of a crescent-shaped Earth and Moon, the first of its kind ever taken by a spacecraft, was recorded September the 18th, 1977, by Voyager 2 when it was 11.6 million kilometers from Earth. Now, beginning January 30th, 1979, Voyager 1 took a picture. I'm going to play this now. Voyager 1 took a picture every 96 seconds for a span of 100 hours to generate a color time-lapse movie to depict 10 rotations of Jupiter. Now, that's not 10, but it made its closest approach on March the 5th at a distance of 349,000 kilometers from Jupiter's center. Now, this close approach allowed for greater image resolution. Great photos there. It was soon followed by Voyager 2, which made its closest approach on July 9th from 500,000 kilometers away from the planet's cloud tops. Now, Voyager 1 discovered Jupiter's rings and observed intricate vortices in its atmosphere. And as Voyager 1 flew by Jupiter, it captured this photo of the Great Red Spot. Now, the Great Red Spot is an ancient high-pressure storm on Jupiter so large that 3 Earths could fit inside it. Following its visit with Jupiter, Voyager 1 encountered several of Jupiter's moons, including Io, Europa, Ganymede, and Callisto in that order, returning spectacular photos of their terrains and opening up completely new worlds for planetary scientists. The discovery of volcanic activity on the moon Io was the greatest unexpected finding of the mission, as it was the first time an active volcano was observed on a celestial body other than Earth. Now, together, the Voyagers recorded the eruption of 9 volcanoes on Io, as well as evidence for other eruptions occurring between the Voyager encounters. Following the Jupiter encounter, Voyager 1 completed an initial course correction on April 9, 1979, in preparation for its meeting with Saturn. A second correction on October 10th ensured that the spacecraft would not hit Saturn's moon, Titan. Unlike Voyager 1, Voyager 2 made close passes to the Jovian moons on its way into the system, with scientists especially interested in more information from Europa and Io, which necessitated a 10-hour-long volcano watch. During its encounter, it relayed back spectacular photos of the entire Jovian system, including its moons, Callisto, Ganymede, Europa, and Io, from about 205,000 kilometers, much closer than Voyager 1, all of which had been already surveyed by Voyager 1. Now, with the combined cameras of the two Voyagers, at least 80% of the surfaces of Ganymede and Callisto were mapped to a resolution of about 5 kilometers. Voyager 1's flyby of the Saturn system in November 1979 was as spectacular as its previous encounter. Voyager 1 found 5 new moons, a ring system consisting of thousands of bands, wedge-shaped transient clouds of tiny particles in the B ring that scientists called spokes, and a new G ring, and shepherding satellites on either side of the F ring, satellites that keep the rings well defined. Now, during its flyby, the spacecraft photographed Saturn's moons Titan, Mimas, Enceladus, Tethys, Dione, and Rhea. And based on the incoming data, all of the moons appeared to be composed mostly of water ice. Perhaps the most interesting target was Titan. Saturn's largest moon was found to have a thick atmosphere which hides its surface from visible light cameras and telescopes. The spacecraft instruments showed it to be mostly nitrogen, like Earth's atmosphere, but with a surface pressure about 1.6 times as high as ours. Following the encounter with Saturn, Voyager 1 headed on a trajectory to escape the solar system at a speed of about 523 million kilometers per year, 35 degrees out of the ecliptic plane to the north, and in the general direction of the sun's motion relative to nearby stars. Now, following a course correction 2 hours after its closest approach to Jupiter, Voyager 2 sped to Saturn, its trajectory determined to a large degree by a decision made in January 1981 to try and send the spacecraft to Uranus and Neptune later in the decade. Now, its encounter with the sixth planet began on August 22, 1981. Once again, Voyager repeated the photographic mission of its predecessor, although it actually flew about 23,000 kilometers closer to Saturn. As it flew behind and up past Saturn, the probe passed through the plane of Saturn's rings at a speed of 13 kilometers per second. For several minutes, the spacecraft was hit by thousands of micron-sized dust grains that created little puff plasma as they were vaporized. Now, because the vehicle's attitude was repeatedly shifted by the particles, attitude control jets automatically fired many times to stabilize the vehicle. During the encounter, Voyager 2 also photographed the Saturn's moons Hyperion, Enceladus, Tethys, and Phoebe, as well as the more recently discovered Helene, Telesto, and Calypso. Although Voyager 2 had fulfilled its primary mission goals with the two planetary encounters, mission planners directed the veteran spacecraft to Uranus, a journey that would take about another 4.5 years. The Voyager was the first human-made object to fly past Uranus. Now, during its flyby, Voyager 2 discovered 10 new moons, 2 new rings in addition to the older 9 rings, and a magnetic field that was tilted at 55 degrees off-axis and off-center. The spacecraft found wind speeds in Uranus' atmosphere as high as 700 kilometers per hour and found evidence of a boiling ocean of water some 800 kilometers below the cloud tops. Its rings were found to be extremely variable in thickness and opacity. Voyager 2 also returned spectacular photos of Miranda, Oberon, Ariel, Umbriel, and Titania, 5 of Uranus' largest moons. Now, when flying by Miranda, the spacecraft came closest to any object so far in its nearly decade-long travels. Now, images of the moon showed a strange object whose surface was a mishmash of peculiar features that seemed to have no rhyme or reason. The spectacular news of the Uranus encounter was interrupted the same week by the tragic Challenger accident that killed 7 astronauts during the space shuttle launch on January 28, 1986. Following the Uranus encounter, the spacecraft performed a single mid-course correction on February 14, 1986, the largest ever made by Voyager 2, to set it on a precise course to Neptune. Voyager 2's encounter with Neptune capped a 7 billion kilometer journey. It was the first human-made object to fly by the planet. Its 10 instruments were still in working order at the time. During the encounter, the spacecraft discovered 6 new moons and 4 new rings. The planet itself was found to be more active than previously believed, with 1,100 km per hour winds. Now, hydrogen was found to be the most common atmospheric element, although abundant methane gave the planet its blue appearance. Now, Voyager photographed 2/3 of Neptune's largest moon, Triton, revealing the coldest known planetary body in the solar system and a nitrogen ice volcano on its surface. Spectacular images of its southern hemisphere showed a strange, pitted cantaloupe-style type terrain. The flyby of Neptune concluded Voyager 2's planetary encounters, which spanned an amazing 12 years in deep space, virtually accomplishing the original planned grand tour of the solar system, at least in terms of targets reached, if not in science accomplished. And this is Voyager 2's final photo, a spectacular photo of Neptune and its moon Triton. Now, once past the Neptune system, Voyager 2 followed a course below the ecliptic plane and out of the solar system. Approximately 56 million kilometers past the encounter, Voyager 2's instruments were put into low power mode to conserve energy. After the Neptune encounter, NASA formally renamed the entire project the Voyager Interstellar Mission. Now, here's a look back at some of the highlights of the planetary voyage of Voyager 1 and 2. And you gotta love the drama from NASA, huh? Helps them spend billions of dollars. Anyway, from there, finally, these family portraits of the sun and planets were Voyager's final photographic assignment. Planetary scientist, president, and Voyager imaging team member Carl Sagan worked for a decade to get these pictures taken. Now, between the two Voyager spacecraft, they returned some 67,000 images of the 4 outer planets and their 56 known moons. Voyager 1 was chosen to take the family portrait because fewer instruments might be damaged by looking back toward the sun. And to Voyager 2, now beyond Neptune and traveling much closer to the ecliptic, Jupiter was too close to the sun to be picked up by the spacecraft's cameras. So on February the 14th, Valentine's Day, 1990, Voyager 1 aimed its cameras at a string of small colored dots clustered just to the right of the constellation of Orion, the Hunter. The spacecraft was then 32 degrees above the ecliptic and nearly 6 billion kilometers from home. Voyager had produced the first portrait ever of our sun and planets together. A mosaic of those images became the pale blue dot image. Well, this image has also been called the Solar System Family Portrait, even though Mercury and Mars can't be seen. Mercury was too close to the sun to be seen, and Mars was on the same side of the sun as Voyager 1, so only its dark side faced the camera. Now, these images were the last of the 67,000 images taken by the two Voyager spacecraft. Their cameras were turned off to save power and memory for the interstellar mission. So that's part 2 of the Voyager spacecraft mission, and next week, the Voyager interstellar mission. And that's my presentation.
Again.
Always a corn.
I love those cartoons.
Always picking on the cornfields. I don't know why.
On cornfields.
I had a teacher when I was a kid, and her name was Mrs. Cornfield.
Really?
Yeah.
She wasn't Mrs.
Corny,
Crop Circle. Wasn't Mrs. Crop Circle. It was Mrs. Cornfield.
You know, she ate
That's
so
what I was
much
waiting
corn. She ate so much corn, she died of a coronary.
Oh. Sorry.
It's all I do. I'm sorry. It's all I
I know. That was part 2 of that mission. That was like it's just an incredible amount of stuff that they've been able to do with those. So spacecraft are only supposed to last 5 years. That's all they were designed for. And now again, they'll be 45 years next year, and we're still talking to them every day.
You guys think it's flying around out there? I captured it home.
But literally, everything that we know about the planet Uranus and Neptune, we learned from the Voyager spacecraft, from Voyager 2. There's nothing else that has been out that far yet. Now, we've actually, with Saturn's Cassini mission, we did launch a small probe called Huygens down onto the surface of Titan. It parachuted down through, and when it got to the surface, it found these large lakes of liquid methane. But that's as far as we've been with anything else. But yeah, I've been following these things. I guess again, probably every month I go in and check just to see if there's anything new. There really isn't anything new now because they're in interstellar space. There's nothing happening out there. But it's just been it was amazing to me to see them launch at that time. I didn't even know they were preparing for it when they were still talking about going to the moon, right? So
Yeah.
But, yeah, pretty amazing stuff. And again, they have to bring these guys out of retirement to bring them in to show them to show the young guys how to write the code for them to talk to them. Yeah, amazing.
Yeah.
Anyway, okay, that's part 2. Part 3 next week will be the Voyager interstellar mission, where they are now and what they plan on doing from now till 40,000 years or a few billion years from now, actually. It won't be that long of a talk, though. Okay.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah. Okay, let's go from here to what are we going to do next, guys?
Mike's going to talk.
Mike's going to talk next. Yep.
You want to see my review?
Yes.
I'm just going to tip the camera this way a bit because it's easier to move the camera than the scope.
I'm going to pin you there, Mike.
You see that? It's all nice and clear.
Can you bring it in, Mike? Can you bring it in closer?
Not without knocking over the computer.
Oh, okay.
I guess it'll hit my desk.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it's hard to tell from here.
I just got a wide angle camera too, so
Okay.
anyway, there's not much you can see in detail anyway. She's just a big white.
Well, actually, if we pin you, it'll make it bigger anyway.
Yeah, right on.
Yeah, I just did. Yeah.
Okay.
So I was looking for a replacement for the mount that I have out in my observatory. It was just time to upgrade get something new. I got a new to me 110 APO refractor from Paul, and I had it on an EQ5 mount, which handled it fine, but I think the EQ5 mount that I have out there is getting on 10 years old. It's just time for me to upgrade and get something new that's going to last me a little while. So doing my research, I was looking for something in a price range, give or take around $2,000, and said that's going to be my limit. I'll go up a little bit or down a little bit, but I want something in that area. And I want something that'll handle a certain amount of weight. So I was looking, I picked 40 pounds as my research number. And I found 4 or 5 mounts in that category, all in around that area. One was the Celestron CGEM 2. Well, I have a CGEM, so the CGEM 2 to me was, toss that one out. That's not an option. The Ioptron had, I think it's called the EZ30, was in the same price range. Lost Mandy, the GM8 was in the same price range. And then this one, the Skywatcher 6R. And when I started looking at this mount, excuse me, everything pushed me towards, something might buy this. This is the one you want. And I'll explain why. It ranges anywhere here in Canada from, I think I put down anywhere from $2,070 to $2,400, depending on where you're buying at. But 90% of the places will all, what do they call it, price check or
price match.
Price match. So, relatively, you can get it for the same price off anybody across the country if you dick a little bit. This one was $2,200 and then shipping. And shipping was only $159. So I was pretty impressed with that. The fact that it had the highest weight load the highest weight capacity for the mounts that I was looking at, this one here will take up to 44 pounds, while the rest of them are all running in the 40-pound range. I know 4 pounds might not make that much of a difference, but it is rated at a higher weight, and that's what counted to me. The knobs, when you look at the knobs, they're nice, big, easy knobs to get your hands on. There's nothing that you have to worry about squeezing or getting a pair of pliers on to open or close. These knobs are, you get your hand on them, you get good torque and good bite on them. It was a belt drive system. I like the fact that I had a couple other mounts in the past that were belt drives. They say that it knocks out backlash. It does, but you still got to remember you have a worm gear in there, so there could still be a little bit of backlash on your worm gear, but it takes out the cog gears that would normally drive it that cause most of your backlash issues, and it just makes it that much smoother. When I converted an LXD75 over to a belt drive, the mount became a whole lot more accurate, but it didn't get any quieter. The EQ6s and EQ5s from Skywatcher just seem to be an extremely quiet mount. I've got an ASG 5 mount over there from Celestron, and when you're out at a star party and you crank one of those over from one side of the sky to the other, it sounds like you got some heavy equipment coming through the woods. This thing here is so quiet you hardly hear it at all. You got to put your ear up to it to see if it's actually running. They're so quiet. So at star parties, you're not bothering anybody with this loud, boisterous noise coming off your mount. Another feature I really liked, and the first time I saw it was on my CGEM mount, was the fact that you can hard connect the power line. It plugs in and then screws on. So through the night when you're moving and something tugs on the wire, it's not going to pull your power cord. You don't have to start all over again. It's nice to see that hard connect, power cord coming in. It has what's called a snap port, which is a little tiny 1/8 inch jack right here. That's the first time I've seen one on a mount. And what that is if you're out in the field and you are running an EOS camera, anything Canon EOS, you can actually run the camera from the handpad, which is convenient. You don't need an what do you call them, infodrometers or
remote?
Yeah, you don't need a remote. Basically connects up and your camera's compatible, then you can run run everything off the handpad. You don't need a laptop or anything. You can do it all from the mount. That was a nice feature to see. Of course, it's got an auto guide port, and 90% of them do now. Nice big carry handle. All the mounts up until this one, I've never seen a carry handle. And I'll tell you what a difference it makes to carry that across the field and pluck it in your tripod.
Yeah.
trying to hold it like this as you're going along. So the carry handle was a nice feature. It accepts both dovetail plates. The saddle will take Las Bandy and Vixen style, which is real nice. You can swap things around. All my scopes are pretty much, a little bit different each one. Some of them have Vixen on the bottom. Some of them have Las Bandy on the bottom. This one doesn't matter. You can put them both in and it'll take it all. Of course, it's got the built-in illuminated polar scope. A lot of them have the polar scope as the option. You have to buy it separate. This one here comes with an illuminated polar scope built right into it. It's a nice quality, good scope too. It's and real easy to center, real easy to calibrate and make sure you're in the right spot. The SynScan controller, I've always liked the SynScan controllers over, and I'm not trying to sell this over Celestron by any means, but little things like when you're looking at Messier objects in the Celestron, you have to put in the number. If you're looking at M13, you have to go 0, 1, 3. On the SynScan, you just go Messier 1, 3. You're done. You don't have to put the 0 in every time. And I don't know, I find that a little bit annoying to have to put that 0 in. It's just M13. So I like the SynScan hand pads. The counterweight bar is fully retractable when you're packing it up or putting it away. And it's a nice feature. It slides up out of the way and makes it that much smaller to store. The one feature I did like with it, it comes with 2 counterweights. And if it's not enough to run counterbalance your scope on the top, instead of going the extra mile and spending money for an extra counterweight, they give you a counterweight shaft extension bar, which just screws in down here at the bottom. That will shift your weight down further, and you'll probably be able to balance what you have up there before you have to go and buy another counterweight. I found that very convenient. I haven't had to use it yet because this is balanced nicely, but you never know. Down the future, you add another piece of popcorn on the top, and it all adds weight. So the last feature that I found on it that I really, really liked, it's got a built-in USB port. Now, out in the observatory, and Paul and I, we run something called EQ Direct, which on the Skywatcher mounts, it eliminates the hand pad altogether. You don't need to have the hand pad out there. Your laptop or computer will plug directly in. In the past, I think it was I've got an old EQ6 over there. It was a serial cable that actually connected on. And then they went to an RJ12. Now they've gone to a USB port. That is a nice feature. That USB port is going to make a big, big difference. None of the other mounts that I looked at can you run EQ Mod or EQ Direct without connecting into the hand pad. So those were the selling features that turned this mount into what I decided to buy overall. It hasn't made it up the observatory yet. Maybe tomorrow I'll get it out there. I'm going to take a run down to Canadian Tire and see if I can't find myself a brake rotor that will take the place of the base on the bottom, so I don't have to use the base to mount it onto my pier. I can keep what I bought out. Brake rotors seem to work pretty good, I hear. So I'm going to talk to them and see what they got. But other than that, that's the new mount that I got. Another buddy of ours, Robert's got one coming. Paul's got one. I haven't heard anybody give me any complaints about them. They've been nothing but positive reviews every time you talk about it. If you want to look into it yourself, there's a guy, look him up. You'll love his stuff. He's Astro Backyard. And he gives a really, really good review on this mount. So that's it. That's my new toy.
Awesome.
So this one is also German Equatorial versus the Altazi, for those who aren't familiar with those styles. Maybe you could tell them a little bit about that.
Well, not much to tell. Altaz, the only thing to finding the difference in tracking is an Altaz has to step over and step up, step over and step up. And then once you pass the meridian, it has to step over and step down. This just has to track across the sky because it's mounted at a 45-degree angle, and it tracks with the rotation of the sky. So Altaz, if you take one and you put a wedge on it and you get it at 45 degrees, you can convert your Altaz mount into an equatorial mount. I looked at the Skywatcher Altaz version of this EQ6, and that was one of the mounts that I was looking at. but I didn't see what I was getting anymore for the extra $700 you have to pay for it. The weight capacity was the same. It had all the same features. It's just that you can turn it into an Alt-Az. Technically, this one you can too if you take out the bolts and stand it straight up. It just doesn't have the feature in the hand pad to turn it that way. But yeah, I couldn't see where the $700 would convince me to buy the
Yeah. Yeah. I get a feeling that one eventually is just going to go the way to Buffalo, because it doesn't make a lot of sense to most people.
No, there was one feature that you had mentioned when we were talking about them before. That's kind of nice. It would have been nice if they had to put it in this. Was the those trackers that actually, if you unlock the clutches and move the mount, it reads where you mount too. Yeah. So that would have been a nice feature. If you manually hit your mount by accident, and at least it tells you where it moved to, and you can bring it back, no problem at all. Not like having to restart from scratch.
Yeah.
So that was the one feature it does have, but I didn't think that was worth the price difference. So it is the most popular selling mount of its class. And there's a good reason. It's got a lot of options that's just not offered on the other mounts in the same class.
Yeah.
You can't walk away from the fact that it's good quality. Skywatcher has been number one quality since the day they come out, and they haven't backed down. They hold that high standard, and I like that.
What's the payload on that, Mike?
44 pounds.
44 pounds. Yes,
not quite. You can't quite hook a lawn chair to it and sit in it.
Not yet.
That'll be the maximum.
But you've only had it for a couple of days, so.
You do binocular viewing, yeah.
Hey, you're looking for brake rotors. I got a brake job done on the car. So if you want to do the brake job, I'll give you my old rotors.
Hey, bring her down. I got a garage. It's full of telescopes right now, but we can move them.
So there's quite an improvement also from that over the EQ6. Now the EQ6 in Skywatcher or the Orion Atlas were exactly the same mounts, just sold under different brand names. And they have been around for a long, long time. And if a mount's around as long as these ones have been, that it's something a lot of people are using, and it's something that's very reliable. So, do you know some of the differences between this new mount versus what the old one had?
The biggest single factor that I've got is the belt drive. They swung it over, but if you had an EQ6, you can swing it over into what they call it is the Rowan belt drive system you can buy. Mm-hmm. ROWAN, I think it's how it's spelled. I've gotten the equivalent even before these come out, and it was called the EQ6 HD, and it was not go-to, it was just motorized. And I actually pulled the motor gears out of it and put a go-to kit in it. And it's a great mount. It's been a great mount. I think it's the exact same as the Atlas, like you said. They're just it was a belt drive system, and all the new features on this, like the USB drive, the hard connect, all the little fancies that they've added to it. Just like when you buy a car and now it goes from cassette deck to MP3 player kind of thing. You're just buying all the modern fancies for it. So you're upgrading to the luxury model of whatever it is, fully loaded.
Yeah.
Ones in the past were simple, like rolling down your window. Who rolls down windows now, right?
I do. I'm a little Ranger. I think I roll up windows.
So I mean, they're good. They're good mounts. It was just time to upgrade. That's all.
Yeah.
I mean, actually, in the camera here, you can see there's my Antares 150, and that's sitting on that EQ6 HD.
Yep.
That mount's got to be 15 years old, 10, 15 years old, and it's still like the day it come off the showroom floor. This wasn't something I needed. It was something I wanted, and it was just a simple fact that it comes with all the luxury items on it that aren't on the other ones.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thanks, Mike.
Yeah, awesome.
Good luck with that, buddy. We can't wait to get that out in the observatory.
Congratulations on a great purchase. You're going to absolutely love it.
Yep. Well, like I said, it's built for the observatory. It'll stay out there, and I can smash my other mounts out in the field anywhere I want.
Okay, we're going to move into Paul's talk, Paul's Rosanna talk, I guess, right now.
Oh, right.
Then we're going to get to the moon contest right after, or the moon contest draw right after Paul's talk.
All right. Let me get myself together here. There we go. And let me just get that open and get it ready. Okay, I'm almost there.
Okay.
Bear with me for 1 centon. Aha!
Oh.
Oops, I'm pressing 2 buttons and I should be pressing 1. But that's the way I is by times. Oops, there we go. Now I gotta share my screen. It's been a while. No, I don't want that one. That's the one I want to share. No, actually, you know what? I want to try that and see if I can make it happen. Make it so, number 1. Put that over there. There we go. Okay, I'm going to try and see if I can pull this off just for fun. Okay. So tonight,
Rosanna's Fun Fact.
Awesome. Get that part.
All right. Well, we got that first part out of the way. That's a good start. Well, welcome back, Rosanna, again this week. Rosanna, of course, sent another very, very interesting topic that we're going to talk about. Her fun facts are always interesting, and this one is just as good as all the others. So she writes, "Hi, Paul. Have you ever tried to fold a fitted sheet? You know that it can be a bit frustrating. There are even YouTube videos of instructions, and of course, Martha Stewart tackled this years ago. Well, if you never had the patience or time to develop this skill, imagine if you were on a task team of folding the sun shield for the James Webb Telescope." So now this telescope, which is prepping for its upcoming 1.5 million kilometer voyage to L2. Now it took almost a month, seriously, days of folding to get the tennis court size shield down to a transportable shape. Now, just like a parachute must be packed in a specific order so that it opens correctly, the sun shield also must be unfolded exactly as planned. Now, this process, oops, gone the wrong way, sorry about that. This process will involve installing the membrane release devices, the rigging and securing of all the sun shield cables, and stowing covers for the sun shield membranes. It will also include stowing the 2 arms of the sun shield, the mid-boom assemblies, which will horizontally extend the sun shield outward during deployment, as well as stowing the 2 pallet structures that hold the sun shield in place. This is amazing. So the sun shield is designed to protect the telescope's optics from any heat sources that could interfere with its sight. The sun shield is one of Webb's most critical and complex components. Because Webb is an infrared telescope, its mirrors and sensors need to be kept at extremely cold temperatures to detect faint heat signals from distant objects in the universe. Now, the month-long process of folding the sun shield began with laying the 5 layers as flat as possible. In its deployed state, the sun shield resembles a multi-layered silver ship. So its inherently curved surfaces added a degree of complexity to this step. Think fitted bed sheet to the 10th power. So afterwards, the layers were lifted vertically and propped onto special support equipment so they could be properly restrained for folding. Now, a team of technicians that carefully folded each layer into a zigzag pattern to create an accordion-like stacks of membranes on either side of the telescope. So contrary to the untrue popular belief that Michelangelo painted Sistine Chapel while laying down these workers did have to be in prone position to do much of the zigzag folding that was necessary. Truly laying down on the job. So this makes the thought of folding this week's laundry seem a little simple. So we are intrigued by this special skill in your resume. You really know how to fold a fitted bed sheet? And that is so great. And that is this week's
Rosanna's Fun Fact.
Awesome.
Go.
Hey.
That was great. Now, what's interesting about this fun fact this week is last night at our astronomy meeting, we had a chat with a physics professor from Florida, and who's from Canada, moved to Florida, and got us back here in Canada virtually. And he was talking about the fact that, and it never even dawned on me when you see the James Webb Telescope being built with all the mirrors and all that stuff. We thought it was a visible light, or I thought it was a visible light telescope, when in fact it's an infrared light telescope, which isn't going to show anything other than what's basically can be construed by heat. So it's so I kind of opened my eyes a little bit about this, and then when Rosanna sent this fun fact over, it was just like perfect. This is just perfect timing. So thank you, Rosanna, for that.
I so hope to get that launched this year. It's going to be, somebody mentioned there origami. Yes, same idea for sure. Yeah, what a complex process to be happening a million miles away from Earth, right? At that altitude Lagrange point, that's where it's going to be sitting.
Yeah.
At least a million miles out, I guess. Yeah. So for all that to happen in specific order, it had to be all folded together quite nicely, like to get it closed out. Good to see that they're closing it up, though. At least that's a good sign.
Well, they're on their way, right?
Yeah, it's supposed to be heading up, I think, in before Christmas. I think it's supposed to go launch.
Yeah,
the latest, anyways. That's great.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Rosanna. That's great. Interesting stuff.
Rosanna.
Always interesting. Okay, let's. How about now we go to the moon contest draw. Want to present first of all the captures that were entered. So the idea of the contest was to take a photo of the moon. It didn't matter what your photo looked like. There was no judging going on. It was just a matter that you went outside, you snapped a photo, and you enjoyed the view of the moon while you were doing it. So we've run this contest a number of times now. Always seems to be well received. We've received over 50 entries this time around. So what I did was I put them all together in a little kind of a gathering, and then so I'll show that now, and then we're going to do the draw right after that for the contest prizes. I want to first of all thank John Reed for supplying a few of the prizes anyway. These 50 Things to See books. One of them is 50 Things to See with the Moon on the Moon, or two of them are that, and the other one is 50 Things to See with a Telescope. John Reed is an author, a local author out of Nova Scotia right now, who writes the 50 Things series of books. They're bestsellers on Amazon. Look them up. So we're going to offer a little bit of a video here for a second. Just hang with me. Find it. Should be right. Where is it? It's here somewhere. Just a minute. Is it in there? No. I know it's here. Oh.
No.
Just hang on. I know it's here. What do you want with the Wabbit? That was my Voyager one contest. Said it just not expanded. I think that's it. There it is. Okay. First of all, up in the wrong screen. So I wanted to drop it on this screen. I'm going to have to minimize it. Oh. The steps you got to do when you're live.
Yes.
See if we can do it this way. There, I think that's it. Can you guys see that now?
Yeah. It says shoot the moon.
Here we go.
Very nice.
Did that work?
Oh, my goodness. Yeah,
Okay.
it did. It looked terrific.
Great shots.
Yeah.
Thanks so much, everybody, for entering the contest, first of all. It was a lot of fun to offer. It's always fun to offer, always fun to get you outside to take a look at what is up, especially the moon.
Yes.
And here we are.
Ah,
You know,
Mr. Tupperware.
she doesn't know what happens to these bowls. I think I just fill them back in the cupboard again, but I don't know if you're supposed to do anything with them or not, but oh well. Anyway, okay. So let's draw. First of all, what's going to happen is we're going to draw for John's 3 books here. First one will be this 50 Things to See with the Moon. And you're going to get this moon calendar. Up here, yeah. This is the 2021 moon calendar with all the phases on it. Now it's on the back side, there's some information about the moon. It's a hard paper, but it's great to pin to the fridge, a couple of fridge magnets, and you can take a quick look and see what the moon phase is going to be for tonight. Helpful little chart, and the grand prize is going to be this Night Watch book by Terence Dickinson. It's a book that I guess we've all kind of been familiar with, guys.
Yep.
Lots of information about the sun, the moon, planets, where we are in space, all kinds of really nice star maps available with them. So that'll be the prize to go with it. So let's go for the draws. Let's start with the 50 Things to See on the Moon book. And the prizes must be picked up in St. John's, so whatever arrangements you can get to get the prizes picked up here. I won't be shipping them, but if you know someone here that can pick up the prize for you, if you've won, great. Let's start. Who wants to do the first draw? Paul? Paul can do the first one? Okay. Paul. One over there. Okay, got it. We're gonna pass it back over to me. All right, perfect. Thank you. Okay. There we go. Thanks, Paul.
No
Okay.
problem.
The winner of the first book, 50 Things to See on the Moon, with the 2021 moon calendar is Indy Vandali. Congratulations.
Oh, nice. Congratulations. Wow, nice.
Okay, there's one. And one of the calendars. Awesome. Okay. Next prize. Let's do another 50 Things with See the Moon book with another calendar. Mike, you up?
Reaching down. Yeah. I got one right here.
Pass it back over to me. Okay. All right. Number 2 goes to Angela Matheson McClellan. Angela, where are you at? Right there.
All right.
Backwards,
Congratulations, Angela.
Angela, hey, welcome. Okay. Great stuff. That's prize number 2. Prize number 3 is the 50 Things to See with a Telescope with another moon calendar with it. Paul, you want to go again?
Yep. You ready?
Hey, let me really mix them up here. All right.
Make sure they're all the same size.
Yeah.
Okay.
True.
A sec.
Okay.
Okay. I got one.
Okay.
All right.
Okay. I'll
Here you go.
pass it back. Thank you. You can't keep it. Gee. Okay. And the other 50 Things to See, or 50 Things to See with the Telescope book with the moon calendar is going to go to Sharon Wilder. Hey, Sharon.
Hey.
Hey.
Yeah, she's contributed a lot of photographs over.
She has. Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So wonderful. That's great. It's probably a good time right now to mention our seminar coming up, though, too, right? Do we want to mention that on the
Go ahead.
program tonight? Yeah. So we have. Go ahead. Yeah, sure. Well, we're all members of the St. John Astronomy Club, and Mike and Paul and I are putting on a 4-week seminar. It's basically a beginner's guide to astronomy. It's going to be offered over 4 evenings, 4 Wednesday evenings starting on May the 5th, if we have enough members to sign up. The first night will be a talk about under the night sky, our place in the cosmos, where we are, how to find planets in the night sky, some talk about the moon, the sun, that kind of thing. So you get a better general feeling when you're standing underneath the sky, maybe a little bit more comfortable about it. Second week is going to be Mike's talk. Mike's going to talk about equipment, and some of that gear that he's got behind him there is certainly representative of it. We'll talk about different types of telescopes, We're going to talk about eyepieces and solar filters and moon filters, accessories, that type of thing. The things that you're going to need when you're talking about shopping for a piece of gear, what you should be looking for. And Paul's going to take the 2 nights, my night and Mike's night, and tie the 2 of them together, and bringing it all together is what we're calling it. So Paul's basically going to take my talk about the night sky and Mike's talk about equipment and bring them 2 together and say, okay, if I had this type of telescope, what would I be able to see in the night sky? And that, give you a feeling for that through Stellarium as well. So some of the offerings that we can get. So when you're out underneath the sky, you get the family with you and you've got a set of binoculars, like what can we see with binoculars? What can we see with a small telescope? So that'll be our 3rd night. And then our final night is going to be more about a Q&A. We'll have some time for Q&A on there. But we'll also talk about upcoming celestial events this year. First of all, the one that's coming up next is going to be, the big one is going to be the partial solar eclipse on June the 10th, of course. And then we have a lunar eclipse coming up in November. We've got a lot of other things that are happening throughout the summer, so we're going to give you some detail on that. We'll provide you with some reference material, some links to some reference material, maybe some of our favorite sites that we visit, places where we can find telescopes and stuff for sale. So we'll share some of that information with you as well. And we'll answer any of your questions, of course. If you have any gear that you're having trouble with, you can let us know on that final night, and hopefully we can help you with a couple of answers on that kind of stuff. So that's our 4 weeks. So the total cost is $20 per person. That's the total cost for all 4 weeks. And there is a note on my Facebook page about how to make your payment. And we're looking for a minimum of 25 people to sign up. So if we don't have 25 by Monday night, then we're going to postpone till a later date. So we'd like to have at least that many. I think we can get that many. So we'll see how it goes. So anyway, that's the upcoming beginner's guide to astronomy seminar. So and it is really laid out for beginners. It's a general feeling for astronomy and and telescopes and that type of thing. So okay, so our final draw tonight is going to be for the Night Watch book, and it is by Terence Dickinson. A great book. We've all had lots of use out of this for sure. Well, not this particular one, but we've all had our own. So let's go there you go. So let's do our final prize, and Mike, you up behind it. Let's do our final draw. Okay, so here, both of you guys can reach in and pick out the final one here.
No. At the end of it all.
Okay. You got it?
Got it. Oh,
All right, pass it back over.
I took your book.
Took the book.
Oh, okay.
I'll give it back to you.
Okay. Okay, final number. Do I only get one? Yes, I do. Okay, one name. No, I don't. I have 2. Let's do it again. I picked out 2. Okay, here we go.
That's because you had 2 people
There.
picking.
2. Okay, I got one name. Here it is. So for the book, Night Watch book with the moon calendar, that's going to Jamie. Why not? Jamie.
Hey.
Congratulations. Yay. Awesome.
Gonna give it to somebody. Why not? Jamie.
Why not? Yeah. Jamie has sent in a number of photos to the page over the last little while. So there, congratulations, everybody. Thanks again for entering. We're probably going to offer the contest again, down the road a little bit. We'll do another one. But now, if what I'll do is I'll contact the people who won the contest if they're not on here tonight. My Facebook page, somebody was asking, is Astronomy by the Bay. So that's where you can find the link. And I'm also on Instagram as well. So anyway, congratulations for all the people who won the contest prizes. I will be in touch with you on how to pick up your prizes. And thanks for entering, everybody. And thanks again to John Reed for supplying the donation of those 50 Things books. We really appreciate it. Thanks, John. Okay, so let's go from there to what do we got left? Oh, we got Binocular Target of the Week. We're at 9 o'clock, but you go ahead, Mike, and I still got a few photos to share at the very end. So Mike's going to bring us up his Vinyl Bud.
You should have a Bino Bud.
He's there.
Here he is.
All right. Well, Bino Bud's target of the week this week is.
Is that up?
That looks familiar. It's like us at a star party. All right. Well, the Leo template also known as the M66 group. It's a small group of galaxies about 35 million light years away in the constellation Leo. This galaxy group consists of a spiral galaxies M65 and M66 and NGC 3628. Now, surprisingly enough, the 3628 being the biggest of the three, I don't know why it didn't get a Messier number. You thought he might have seen it first. But anyway, the three large spiral galaxies can be seen in a single field of view and are well viewed in small telescopes or binoculars, believe it or not. The galactic disks are tilted at different angles as seen from Earth, where NGC 3628 appears edge-on, while M65 and M66 are inclined enough to reveal their spiral arms. But where do you find that? Excuse me. If you look up and you are walking outside, you take your compass and you set it for 180 degrees due south at about 9:30, 10 o'clock at night when it gets dark, because you won't see it in the dusk. Leo is facing due south. You'll probably look up. It's really easy to recognize Leo in the sky. It's the most predominant thing facing south when you're looking in that direction that time of night, and you'll pick it off right away. So if you can see here where his head is, and there's his body, and then of course this would be his tail down towards Denobula. What we're looking for is to find these two stars that basically hold the tail on, or find Denobula, find that triangle. And if you come down just a little bit from the bottom star, you'll find the Leo triplet. Now, there's all kinds in there, but when you look, this is what you're going to be looking for. That's the NGC, and there's the 60 or 65 and 66 Messier. What you'll see in a pair of binoculars looks more like this. So there's the Hamburger Galaxy, or the NGC, and then the two Messiers. Now, again, just to compare it, if you had the full moon in a pair of binoculars, look how spaced they are. They'd be about the size of the full moon, the outside of the full moon. So that's what you're looking for. They're not just going to be little dots in the sky. You're actually going to see the galaxies. And that is binocular target of the week.
Oh, that's a true one.
Oh, how many times has that happened,
Oh,
eh?
so many. Yeah. Yeah. So many to count. That's the thing about galaxies too, is remember that we see a smudge when we see a galaxy, but we are looking at them live too. Like the distance that those are away are millions of light years. So you may not see lots of detail with your eyeball, but you're still going to be able to see that smudge and think of that smudge as holding about anywhere from 100 to 200 billion stars or more.
Yeah, you won't see those Hubble images.
Right. Okay, let's get back to the final part here is the photos that were submitted. So I always like to get to those. I just got a few here to share, so if you bear with me for a second, I'm just going to get them in the right location here. And I want to get my notes up at the same time. Bring my notes over to here. Great to have the 6 monitors going. Okay, I'll go to present now. Entire screen, and we're going to go with this one. So let's see if we get this photo up here. Here we go. Should be up.
Yep.
Okay, so we got this one's from Kathy Adams. She said, we couldn't see anything much Monday night, but really late Tuesday night, I looked out about 11 and saw this. Absolutely no moon details could be seen. Just grabbed my tripod and camera. So pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice shot.
Nice shot.
It is a nice shot.
I want to get that back out again. I've got to go to this one, and I've got to do it in a different format. Sorry, just a sec. I want to show it as photos. Open with photo viewer. Here we go. So here's our second shot. It always seems to be clear, just a little bit. Always seems to be too clear a little bit. It's just as I'm going to bed.
Yeah.
Yep, every time.
Always.
Every time. That's great. Thanks, Kathy. Now I've got this one from Cheryl. We saw this one in the short clip there.
I
Cheryl
like that.
Stevens. Yeah. Cheryl Stevens says, hi, Chris. My 11-year-old granddaughter, Ava Power, took this selfie last night. She said I could send it in to you. I always encourage her and her younger sister to look up. Thought you may enjoy seeing it. So thanks very much, Cheryl.
Oh, cool.
Awesome.
Awesome, Ava. Very nice. Pinch the moon. This one I got from Sean Connors. We all know Sean. Sean
Yes,
runs the
yes,
NB. Sean runs the
that's
NB
true.
Storm and Weather Center page. A great page for your weather updates. He said, I took this one with my LG Velvet phone. He even had a street light, he said, behind him. So amazing the quality of phones nowadays.
Oh, phones now, yeah.
What got me is that looks like the coat hanger, but I'm not sure what direction he was
Up
taking.
here, yeah, I'm not sure. Would it be that big?
Yeah, well, that's the other thing, and that early in the morning, or
Yeah.
like, you'd have to be up really, really late.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Yeah.
that one puzzled me because I was like, "What is that?"
Yeah, I should get. I'll get some more facts on it if I can from him. This one was sent in from Johnston Haynes. Now Johnston sent this one. He said this is Harvest Moon 2019 over St. Andrews and the Pendlebury Lighthouse. Awesome
Wow.
shot.
Yeah, it's a beautiful shot.
Unbelievable. Yeah. Very well done, Johnston. Thanks for sending that in. I'll get this one from Jamie Why Not. Sent this one in. This was a photo that she had sent in last week, I believe. I forgot to bring it up on the show, and I promised I would bring it up this week, so here it is.
Nice shot.
Awesome,
Yeah.
awesome capture.
Yeah, very nice.
And Renat Rosk Shelton sent these in. While watching the never-ending variety of cloud formations building stage props for the Bay of Fundy Theater, I observed the accompanying typical rain sunshine weather patterns with a sense of reverie and enchantment. A good mood for revisiting and finishing up some left to rest creative originals. So she said, here's my fresh of the easel pair from my Fallen Star Night Sky series. Each of these is a 16 by 20 acrylic on ink, and ink on stretched canvas, ready to hang or available to custom frames. She says, so her first painting, this one, All My Stars Have Fallen, she calls it. 16 by 20 acrylic and ink on stretched canvas.
That's fantastic.
Unbelievably abstract she can get in there. Yeah, very colorful. And this one she called Aldebaran from Taurus is Down.
Now that's very cool.
Yeah.
Taurus the bull.
First of all,
Aldebaran
And,
from Taurus is Down. So there's must be a big Aldebaran here. The big red star there.
Well, it could be the red star, or it could be the star that's down below Taurus's face.
Yeah, maybe
Because
that too.
typically, Aldebaran's going with one of the eyes, right?
Right. So these are, this is another 16 by 20 acrylic and ink on canvas. She does amazing work. Her work can be viewed at www.renatart.com. RENATEART.com. Thank you for that, Renat.
yeah.
Absolutely.
These were sent in by David Simard. David says, M13, the night was cold, but I had to try something else in M12. This picture was, what, I'm not sure. So he's M13, the night was cold, but had to try something. So he's got,
Yeah.
this is, M13 here.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, it's right there.
Yeah, right there in the center.
Make it out.
So David's moving along through his astrophotography journey, and he's doing very well. Keep up the good work,
Yes.
David.
Absolutely.
Keep sending those photos in, too.
What's this one, Chris?
This one, I think it's M12, he said. That looks like M12. Wild
Yeah.
duck.
Yeah.
Don't ask me. They don't look like
Yeah,
ducks.
looks just like a wild duck. Yeah. So yeah, M13 and M12. So great stuff. Those are summertime targets coming around again now. So
They are.
awesome to see
Yeah.
those.
Yeah, you're not going to have to stay up very late to see those now.
That's right. Awesome.
And you'll be warmer too, David.
Yeah, much more for sure. And I got Mike had to send me this one. This is his Shoot the Moon entry.
Yeah.
Oh, that's nice, eh?
Yeah, not bad.
You know what I like about that picture is the tone that you got on it. Looks like something from a magazine from a while back.
Yeah.
You know, you just get that nice vintage look to it. It's fantastic.
Yeah. And
Antiquity. Yeah.
you roll these guys up, there's all kinds of detail there too. So
That's that brown film paper or whatever they call it.
yeah,
I like it.
I like it. Okay, and from here we got this guy's photo. This is Mr. Owen's photo. His Shoot the Moon contrast entry as well. So these guys gotta get
The only reason I even show that on here wasn't because of the picture of the moon, because I mean, you know, they're easy to come by. But what was unique about this was I was out in the river, in the middle of the river, in a boat, and it was your blue hour where it was, the sun's gone down and blue's going to eventually go to black, and the moon was out, and it was so vivid. It was just unbelievable, especially from being out in the middle of the river. And I took that shot, one shot, with a telephoto lens and a camera from that boat,
Yeah.
and I got all that detail from that one shot. So so don't think you have to have a top end telescope and all that stuff to get shots like this. You don't.
Yeah, that's awesome, Paul.
Yeah.
Yep.
Anyway, that was the point of that picture.
Well, it worked.
It worked well. Yeah.
And if you want to send your photos in, we'd like to get them here. It's Sunday Night Astronomy Show at gmail.com, or you can just drop them into my Facebook page if you like to. I'd like to get them there. So we always love sharing all your work. And I guess that's going to bring us to a close, guys.
Yeah.
Time flies when you're having fun.
Boy, oh boy.
So remember, on Tuesday, May the 4th be with you.
May the 4th be with you.
So when you get up on Tuesday morning, you now have something to look forward to.
Absolutely. And we haven't had much to look forward to on Tuesday mornings for a while now. So yeah,
That's right. That's right.
Another rainy day.
Yeah, but I think it's going to be. So in closing tonight, again, our special thanks once again for your continued support out there, and thanks again to Rosanna for her constant contributions and continued contributions to our show. Really do appreciate all of your segments. This was pretty awesome, that origami opening there tonight. Remember too, we do love getting your photos, so send them in to Sunday Night Astronomy Show at gmail.com, and we'll do our best to get them on the program for you. We're also looking for suggestions for topics for future shows. If you have anything that you would like us to discuss on a future episode, please send your request to the same address, Sunday Night Astronomy Show at gmail.com, and we'll do our best to make it happen for you. We also ask that if you enjoyed the content here tonight and you joined us from YouTube, please consider giving us a like and subscribing to our channel. And please let your family and friends know as well that we are here every week at the same time to help entertain and educate you both, but mostly entertain on the night sky. So for now then, from Mike and Paul and I, stay safe everybody out there. We wish you all clear skies. My apologies for not reaching out to the crowd on Facebook tonight. I still have a frozen screen here in front of me, but these guys here I know have been looking after it in the background. So thanks, guys. We do wish you all clear skies out there, and we wish that you will join us here again next week at the same time. And remember, as we like to say, guys, keep your scopes pointed up.
Yeah.
Thanks everyone for joining us. Good night.
And have a great week.
And may the 4th be with you.
May the 4th be with you.
And cue the music. Do, do, do. There it is. Hold it together, Paul. Hold it together. Good night, everybody. Have a great week.
Do a moonwalk.